Tuperas y tuperas, today on DOOP by the River, the Philadelphia Union are heading into another rivalry match. That's 3 in a row. This time, the almighty NYCFC, who we all know gives us all fits. Don't you dare go anywhere because you do not want to miss this episode of DOOP by the River. And let's get it started, guys.
DOOP by the River
doesn't do anything well. There is not one.
I'm sorry. There was no creativity.
As a Union fan, I take that all day.
Another DP. We need to go get Mario Balotelli. And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to DOOP by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union. And, of course, we are brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Before we dive into today's episode of DOOP by the River, I want to welcome everyone in, whether you're watching this live on Ed Parcel Philly's YouTube channel or here on DOOP by the River's Twitter account. Thank you so much. If you're watching live on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe for all your future live viewings, and, of course, hit that follow button. We always keep you covered on game day, so make sure you guys check us out over on the Twitter account. We're available wherever you stream podcasts as well. Find us under DOOP by the River podcast. And today is going to be a quick one, a special edition one. We're a little bit busy over here at DOOP by the River, but we're going to get you guys ready for Saturday nights because I know everybody is ready for NYCFC. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my special guest today from the other side, please welcome from the Blue Balls podcast, one of my favorite NYCFC podcasts, Mr. Trey Fillmore. Trey, what's up, brother? Welcome on
what's
to
up?
DOOP by the River, brother.
I'm so happy to be here. So happy to be back. Good to see you. How's it going?
Dude, I'm pretty blessed, man. Of course, you know it's been a rough year for Philly sports fans.
Oh yeah.
So the Union included with that one, but we're kind of excited trying to turn the page here into the summer. Typically, the Union turn it on, and we're excited for Saturday, man. It's Union NYCFC, brother. You can't get any better than that.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good soccer. It's two talented teams. You know, it's been up and down, and we'll get into it, but it is definitely like one of the first matches in a long time I've been looking forward to for sure.
Yes, yeah, man, absolutely. So of course, as always, man, we love the Blue Balls podcast. How you guys been, man? What's new with you guys? What's new with the podcast in general?
We're good. We're still going strong. Still rocking the way we usually do. We're on season 9, I think.
Right, you guys are
been like 8,
going
9
strong,
years.
man.
It's been crazy. I mean, life changes. You know, we were 2 broke boys, single, and now, you know, my co-host Jake is getting married this weekend. I actually had to move my suit out of the frame of this. So I'm just panicking, trying to get ready and everything. So that's going to happen during the game, which is exciting. It's fun. And everything's going well. You know, happy to be here. I'm happy MLS is still going strong with the Apple deal and everything. And I'm blessed that I don't know how this happened, but I'm now a member of North American Soccer Reporters. So you got to be nice to me so I can vote for Philly players when they deserve it, or else I'll take it, you know, too seriously.
Vote for guys. No, I'm just kidding. But that's awesome, man, dude. That's really beautiful. Like, you know, I just got engaged this past month.
Congratulations.
Thanks, brother. And like now I'm in the process of getting married, and I'm like telling my girlfriend who's got a huge Puerto Rican family, like, babe, I gotta invite my podcast guys, man. Those guys have been rocking with me since day one. I gotta do it. So it's a beautiful thing as, you know, we keep growing in MLS content creation world, and these relationships keep getting built, not even just with our podcast mates, but, you know, just like, you know, you and I, and just and other markets as well. And it's a beautiful thing. I don't think America really grasps our community too well, man.
They will. One day it'll come. They'll get it. And we're doing the hard work. We're doing the dirty work.
Yes.
We're keeping people informed and having a good time.
Setting the groundwork, man. That's absolutely true, man. So obviously, listen, these two teams have history, right? Last 2 Eastern Conference Finals were represented by both New York and Philadelphia. My question for you, because I had no idea. Like, when the playoffs started, I did not guess NYCFC was going to be at the end, right? I knew it was going to be Philly. Like, I had the hunch would be Philly, but I did not think it would be NYCFC. At some point last year, did you think NYCFC would be back in the Eastern Conference Finals?
The finals is tough because we, you know, obviously the biggest story for NYCFC like last year was losing Ronnie Dyla, the coach, and the championship winning coach, and Tati Castellanos, the best striker in all of MLS, around the same time. And so there was a lot of limping going on the second half of the season, kind of pulled itself together. And then we went on this amazing road run again in the playoffs. And so I don't know if I'd ever be surprised with the amount of talent NYCFC has had that they would make the conference finals, but I will admit on this podcast, because I'm on your podcast, that I was fully convinced we were not going to win that game against you guys, and it turned out to be true. I think there was moments in the game where NYCFC might have been able to break through, but there was not a chance. I was just happy to be there, so to speak. Let you guys have your time. A fantastic team. So to answer your question, no, I did not.
When Montreal pulled the dud they did, I was like, wow, this is really gonna happen, right? And then once we got to the Eastern Conference Finals, I felt very confident, just simply because, dude, you don't I don't know if people really understand how angry this team was because of 2021. That's you can't control that. That's a different type of anger, right? And so that really drove the team, and that's why I felt confident. Now you guys had the lead, and at that point, a different time, a different me would have been like, fuck, it's done. But I felt fully confident. And obviously you saw what happened. But I think, again, it adds to this rivalry because, Trey, through the first 10 years of this club's history, it was always Union versus Red Bull calling us little brothers. But then comes NYCFC. You guys had the better hand in the beginning part. Obviously, we had 7 years we couldn't win in Yankee Stadium. Now we have the playoff history. So with MLS, really driving these rivalries, man, where is this rivalry to you in the MLS landscape?
I think it's huge. I think for rivalries to be important, both teams have to be good. And I think these teams have been good teams. And I think the proximity is always, it's not a difficult trip at all whenever I go down to the Philly Stadium, Subaru Park. And obviously there's moments of contention. There's those storylines of feeling, fair or unfair, the players not being available, and the having rivalries that have championship games involved is always important. Regular season, fine, it's fun, it's exciting, you can get some real rivalry moments, but the money is in that cup and in the playoffs. So if whoever can put up in those experiences is great. And I have not seen Red Bulls in playoffs very often, us. So I, that's not something that they can really hang on us either. So Phillies, and I'm gonna be honest, for NYCFC fans, a majority of fans view Philly as more of a rival than Red Bulls. And that sounds ridiculous, but it's just gotten to that point where Red Bulls just have been such an unserious team for so many years that, it's New York. The attitude is bring us the best. We're coming for you, whatever. And you guys have brought it every time, and it's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, within that rivalry created the villain here in Philly that was Tati Castellanos. It's funny because, my boy Fabian Renkel puts out the tweet because of, Puig really put a target on his back last night, man. Holy crap. But, now he's known, it depends who you ask. LAFC, I think they were a little upset about it. I found it hilarious. But the whole villain thing got brought up here, and I'm thinking to myself, man, Tati still got that crown, man. He's the Joker. He's the real villain of the MLS. Do you NYCFC? Do you fans view him like that, or do you think there's a bigger villain in the MLS in the past couple of years?
I understand. I think a lot of NYCFC fans were blind to the villain.
He was good, man.
Yes, exactly. I think that was it, right? Is that he brought the team so much success, people overlooked it. But I was very aware of how the league felt about Tati Castellanos. I just think that in his last season, he just got to the point where he was so good that it kind of overcame all those, because we hated the flopping too. He did that way too much early in his career. But he just got so good that he was just scoring more than he was flopping. And I think a lot of people got over that pretty easily after that. And now he's killing it overseas.
That's really cool to see, because at the end of the day, it's MLS before anything else. And to see an MLS player do that in La Liga, a league that doesn't really respect our league, that's really freaking dope, man. But let's move forward, because I really, really wanted to find out your thoughts. Congratulations, dude. We might have a stadium. We might have an actual ground for NYCFC, which is really dope, brother. So kind of just, give us an update. What's been going on? Your thoughts, man. It's exciting.
It's super exciting. Obviously, it's almost feels too good to be true. It's been so long we haven't had a stadium. The club just celebrated its 10-year anniversary last week since it was announced, and to go 10 years without a stadium, it's been awful and devastating. And to be a podcast that covers the team since day one, it's been something that we always had to talk about. And now finally, just like a little window opened where the team could sneak into Queens, because they were trying so hard to build in the Bronx for so long. And there's so much red tape I don't even want to get into about parking spaces and old buildings and hundreds of $1 millions of debt. And all of that seemed to be circumvented by just deciding to move the team to Queens. And Queens is a borough. If you have not been to Queens or don't know Queens, it's the most diverse borough in the world.
Jackson Heights, baby.
There you go. They speak the most languages in the world. They love soccer. Like, you guys will see that when Philly's in Citi Field, like, the attitude's different than that Yankee Stadium crowd. That Yankee Stadium crowd is like families and stuff. The Citi Field crowd is a bunch of homegrown soccer fans, and having a stadium there is amazing. Obviously, it's going to open up like 2027 most likely, but it seems like everything is good to go and moving forward.
I'm glad you brought that up because, when I saw the first pictures, the first thought it was that, this ground kind of does look familiar, man. It looks like some other grounds here in the MLS. I mean, obviously, listen, nothing's set in stone, but listen, the three major cities in Northeast of America, Philly, New York, Boston, we all have our own culture, our own imprint. Like, do you feel like it needs to feel like New York in there, or do you just want a ground in general?
It's going to be, well, obviously, yeah. When the stadium renderings came out, and the main reaction wasn't to be picky about the style or anything like that. It was all like, okay, this is what we're getting. It could look like a pile of doo-doo, and we take it. That's all we want is a stadium that we can play in. And it's interesting to say, like, that area is not necessarily like busy like New York really is. It's like on the border. Right where Citi Field is on the border where there's lots of apartments and neighborhoods, but they're really building there like that. It's the stadium is part of a project that will also have a hotel and 100% affordable housing, like multiple units, many buildings, a school I think is in there too. So they're trying to really get that area really built up and create its own personality. And I think that's what's going to happen, is that a personality will definitely build around that stadium in that area, and people are gonna make it their own, because there's no bars or anything to go to before or after games. It's depressing, but there will be.
As a Union fan, I do hope that they keep up with it, because listen, we've had our fair share of promises down here, and I know that it doesn't always come to fruition. So I really do hope, because I do think it is really dope concepts that they have coming up. So hopefully it does in fact come true. Trey, let's talk about the team.
Let's do it.
Obviously, lots of changes. It's a little bit of a different team. For you, what was the biggest attraction, man?
It's hard to say because the team was gutted. I mean, we lost a majority of our starters in the offseason, and then Santi Rodriguez came back after some back and forth negotiation that was going on,
right.
And that was a surprise, and it was a welcome surprise. And James Sands, who we loaned out for all of last year, he came back from his loan at Rangers. So there's more familiar faces that came back. But I think losing the personality of people like Sean Johnson, the captain, who was the captain of the team for many years, is obviously an MLS veteran, and losing Alex Callens, who was on his way to being one of the best defenders in the league, if not the best, outside of your guys. And I honestly think, even with all the offseason turnover, the biggest loss was Tati Castellanos. I mean, that's huge. And I think it's just part of this team not looking like it was a year ago today. So all those changes are really crazy. Anton Tinnerholm was like a big emotional leader for this team as well. So it's been surprising. I think a lot of the young guys have stepped up, and the losses have not been so huge. Like Luis Barraza is a first-year goalkeeper now, and he's doing a fantastic job. But what you are getting is youth. You're getting young players that don't know how to finish out games, players that their mentality is so up and down, and their performances are so up and down, and that's what NYCFC is not used to seeing. They want to be this CFG machine that's always good, always has consistency, always has good play, and this is the first year in a very long time that that's not the case because of how young this team is.
It's interesting because, like, you think of New York and you think of the biggest market here in the MLS, and one of the biggest markets in the MLS. And yeah, I to go through this route, building young, it's like Philly does that, like not New York, but it's definitely a good way to build it. And at the end of the day, all these teams, they want to collect some dough, and that's kind of a way to collect that dough to continue the rotation of the good soccer that you continue seeing up in New York. So it is interesting. I was, when you guys traded for Matt Freese, really thought y'all were gonna start starting him, but I completely get it if you got Braz out there balling out. But we're still rooting for Freezy down here.
That's been an interesting side thing, because even into the first 2 weeks of the season, Nick Cushing didn't name a starting goalkeeper. He was just playing Barraza out of practice, and then was saying, we'll have one when we have one. But it's never changed. Freeze started our Open Cup game. I think he did a pretty good job. He's getting paid more than Luis Barraza, but at the end of the day, Barraza's been battling with learning under Sean Johnson, and kind of was in the mentality that this is going to be his team, his crown. He watched like an MLS veteran captain, and how that you're supposed to be when you have that job. You guys have Blake, you know what that job is, and I think Barraza has really surprised a lot of people by taking that opportunity and becoming. And just performing really well. He's a little undersized. He still looks a little nervous sometimes, but he's got enough juice to start. We'll see by the end of the season what happens. And Free still has an expectation to start at some point in his own mind, but we'll see.
Doesn't hurt to rotate, but I mean, it is wild because you learn Matt sitting under Andre for so long. He's always had the talent to start. It's like you're not taking Andre's spot. And he goes to NYC, and then Raza turns it up, and it's just such a tough spot, man. It's not like he's not deserving, but competition is competition. That brings the best out of players, but sometimes can't give it a little bit. So we'll still be pulling for Matty Freeze down here, man. So what's the goal? What's the plans this season, man? Where is the expectation for this NYCFC team?
I think the expectation's high because we're in this window of having a lot of talented young players that are kind of ready for that next step in their career. You have Santi Rodriguez, you have Talos Magno, you have Gabby Pereira. We got Richie Ledesma as a mercenary signing, U.S. men's national team player. Those are that's our front line, and they're super talented. Every single one of them is a great player. But the problem is that I know we keep bringing up Tati, but you lose Tati. And the second half of last season, the team rotated striker, some Talish, some Eber. And then in the offseason, they made the decision. They're saying, we're going to turn Talish Magno, one of the best wingers in the league last season, and we're going to turn him into a number 9. And Eber said, okay, bye. And he left. And now they were stuck and committed to that. And they instantly realized it was a mistake and gave up on it. Like 4 games into the season. I mean, he's just not that player, even though he's tall and can shoot and whatever. He's not a striker. He doesn't have that instinct to shoot when he needs to, and he doesn't know how to move in the center. So this team has just there's just a humongous hole in the center forward space on this team. So the goal of the season right now is to wait until the transfer market opens so we can get a number 9. And then after that, it's how fast can we integrate them so that this team can run?
Did he want to play at the 9 position?
Talish? Yeah. I think he was. I don't.
Obviously, you do what you can for the team, but he seems comfortable out there in that wing, man.
Yeah, he has a lot more fun on the wing. He has more space to do his Jogo Bonito and stuff.
Yeah, he's Brazilian, man. They love that.
Yeah, I think if Kleberson, by the way, thank you for Kleberson. That's been great. I think if World Cup winner Kleberson is like, you're going to play at the 9 now, then you're going to do it.
Yeah, we screwed up with that one. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, we needed him so badly. We didn't have one staff member that spoke Portuguese. He came in so clutch.
Dude, I really want to learn Portuguese. I'm not going to lie to you. You have to come from Portugal. So it's definitely on the bucket list to learn some Portuguese for sure, man. But yes, we miss Kleberson. We love you, Kleberson. We hope nothing but the best, except for on Saturday. But I guess, you kind of have answered it, but, I want to ask you still, started off the season pretty solid. It's not been so hot as of late. What has it been? The goal scoring? Has it been the defense? Has it been, I've seen a lot of talks about Nick Cushing. What has it been, man? What's the difference been?
I think there's like 2 or 3 main points. And the first is that NYCFC is by far the worst team in the league conceding set pieces.
Okay.
They're reaching a historic level. We have now conceded 50% of our goals from set pieces.
Okay.
And it's shocking. I don't know what happened. We have Vartugian, who also came from Philly, by the way, but that was a long time ago, like 10 years. Vartugian has been such a good set piece coach for years, and I think it's falling apart because the team's so young that they just lose focus on every set piece. I don't know what's happening. But outside of the set pieces that, we've only given up 7 or 8 goals throughout the season. And the team has been extremely rock solid at center back and goalkeeper. Like, we're not letting a lot of good chances happen. It's just those stupid fouls outside the box lead to goals. The stupid corner kicks lead to goals. And so that's the main problem on the defensive end, is only set pieces. Everything else is rock solid. The problem has really been the number 9 missing, is that this team is so talented up front, but they have no movement, no space, no one running into the box at any time. So just one of the worst teams in the league when it comes to creating chances right in front of the goal. It's been really demoralizing to watch this team do so well, hold so much possession, and they hold so much possession, and it just leads to nothing over and over again. And the last thing that is the biggest story is that this team is awful on the road. We've never won a road game. We got our first tie on the road last week. But at home, they look dynamite. At home, this team is clicking on all cylinders. I'm going to assume part of that is because young players like to play in front of fans, home fans more, and they get fun. We have the Brazilians and the South Americans that love to show off and have fun and look good. And then you have a smaller pitch. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm on a Philly podcast. I'll be honest. We have a small pitch and it's great for us. And it works. And
Jim's smiling somewhere.
No, I'm sure. So that kind of takes away some of the limitations of not having a number 9. And it also, just the team being so comfortable playing in those stadiums has been really beneficial and really fun to watch. Like our last home game, when we played Dallas, we dominated them. I mean, it was not even close. They should have thrown in the towel. They had no chance. It was like a party. The question is, are we going to see that same lineup in that game, strikerless lineup yet again? And who's to say? We'll see.
So I guess the question I have to ask this because, from your attacking struggles, and our backline's pretty strong, even with the addition of Damian Lowe to the rotation of center backs. Dude, is this a match where we're going to see NYCFC potentially parking the bus, just trying to get some points?
Definitely going to be a possession-heavy game. I mean, NYCFC is going to be desperately pinging the ball around the back line forever. It's just going to be what they're really interested in doing, is to limit the chances of Philly. Because, look, you guys run a 2-striker system, always difficult to play against. And with the way we're set up, we've switched to a single pivot to try to move Keaton Parks further up the field with mixed results. And running a single pivot when you have a player like Gazdag is like, I don't know what we're going to do against him. And you're 100% right. Like, all the chances for NYCFC are going to have to come from stretching the field as wide as possible, as wide as you can on our tiny stadium. They're going to have to come from, whipping balls, creating chances by beating wing defenders, and hopefully some set piece chances too. But it's going to be a pick your spot. I don't see NYCFC being a hyper aggressive team in this match for sure.
Yeah, man. I hope we don't see Olivier Mbaizo, because I'm sure NYCFC fans get excited for.
I was going to bring that up. Talish Magno, if he's back on the wing, it's going to be over. I watched some of that New England game, and I saw that Mbaizo had a majority of the touches of anyone, and he had the ball so far up the field. And if Talish is on the field, that's the one thing we can definitely take away from you guys, because Talish is going to be running up into that corner flag constantly.
Yeah, man. So since the LAFC match, the CCL elimination, he has kind of been a little bit in the doghouse, the dog pound, as we like to say here. Nathan Harriel is the best 1v1 defender that we do have. But like you said, Mbaizo does a great job getting up. He's got a great touch on that cross. And so it's just a tough circumstance because it's like, all right, you start Mbaizo, you got a great attack, but then you're struggling defense. And then Harriel's still good in the attack, but he's not like Mbaizo. So it's a tough decision for Jim every single match. But I mean, I would hope he would go Harriel in this one because, I mean, we've all got PTSD still from Magno. Give him that work on that wing, man. But we'll see what happens. But let's get to some lineups here. What could the lineup look like on Saturday for NYC?
I'm curious if Nick Cushing is going to surprise everyone and run a 3 in the back like we did last year against you guys. Just he seems comfortable running that against your 2 forward diamond situation that you usually run, and he played it in our US Open Cup game, and he also has promoted Kevin O'Toole to the starting left back position, and he's more comfortable going forward. So that's an option that I think he has not put that out in a regular season game this season, but maybe this is the match he wants to switch things up. If he doesn't, NYCFC has been doing a really cool thing where a lot of times you'll see a center midfielder drop between the center backs to facilitate passing in this CFG kind of system. James Sands has been dropping into the left back position, and that creates an overload over there. If we have possession on that side, you have a ball carrier moving that direction, and then it pushes our left back forward and creates so you have Talish Magno, Kevin O'Toole, who's like a wing. He's essentially a winger that we converted to a fullback, and James Sands over there. So you got people that can move the ball forward. It's been what we've been trying to do. I'm not saying it's been working, but I can see that happening. Everywhere else, you see Luis Barraza in net. I don't think we put Freese out against his former team. You'll see the only 2 veteran players we really have in Maxime Chanot and Thiago Martins are going to be our 2 center backs, and they've been fantastic this year. They've been really good. I'm happy. At right back, it's been almost a 50-50 split between our homegrown Tavon Gray, who you'll remember from 2021, and our brand new kid, Slovenian, Micha Elenic, who's like a little ball of joy, who it just plays with so much freedom, and the fan base is clamoring for him to start more games because Tavon Gray is an exceptional. He's like the Harriel of our team. I mean, he's like an exceptional defender, but going forward, he just doesn't have what it takes. So that's a coin flip. And our American midfield of James Sands and Keaton Parks and Richie Ledesma, I can see them running that midfield out in this match. And then you got the exciting boys up front, Talish Magno. Santi Rodriguez has been playing more of a false 9 since we gave up the Talish Magno at the 9 experiment. And Gabby Pereira, who's probably our only true goal scorer on the team off the right wing. And he is just, the way he hits a ball is better than almost anyone in the league. I mean, you watch his highlights, he's bangers only. He just can score from anywhere. He loves to shoot. The problem is that he needs service, and he can get put on an island so easily. In so many games, he'll have the least amount of touches of any player on the field. So if you're Philly, that's the first thing you game plan for, is like get Gabby Pereira on an island by himself. Don't let him run into the center of the field. Don't let him get the ball, because he's the one who's most likely to score for NYCFC. If you can stop him, you essentially guaranteed a tie.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's some good news and note there from our boy Trey here. So Trey, as we end every pod, let's get that prediction, man. Prediction, and we do need a key here, since this is a Union podcast. Key for the Union to beat NYCFC.
Well, yeah, as we know, like, I'm on your podcast. I got to be a little friendly because you asked me so nicely, and I'm happy to be here. If I'm being like generous, like, let's say like a 1-1 draw, maybe. These are 2 really good defenses, and I think they're gonna hold up a lot of chances. I mean, I just think it's gonna come down to moments. I think both teams will have opportunities and can both create, but finishing those chances are going to be tough for both teams in this match. So I'd say 1-1 maybe. And the key, I mentioned Gabriel Pereira. You got to stop him. And really, Keaton Parks has found himself in no man's land a lot of this season since our attacking midfielders are so busy trying to be strikers that he's left on an island. So anyone that's in front of Martinez for you guys, if they can carry the ball 10, 20 feet and pass it, they're going to have open passing lanes. I would say that's the other thing to look for.
Okay. All right. We'll keep an eye out for that. Trey, where can people find the Blue Balls podcast, brother?
Sure. Oh my God. I just noticed I look like a cherry tomato. Are you kidding? My Caucasian is like standing out like crazy.
That time of year, Trey.
I gotta get some lights. I gotta get some foundation. I don't know. Plugging, of course. I love plugging. You can find us on Twitter at Blue Balls Pod. You can find our podcast everywhere, Blue Balls NYCFC podcast.
Cool.
On Twitter, we're just, covering NYCFC, lots of quotes and things and locker room observations, stuff like that. And whatever. I'm at Trey Fillmore on Twitter, but I'm mostly on our personal account. And we're nowhere else because we're stupid. I don't know why we don't have other social media after 9 years, but we don't. You can find us there.
It's a lot, man. I'll tell you that. It's a lot for sure, man. But Trey, listen, we always appreciate it, man. Enjoy the match on Saturday wherever you do watch it. And congratulations to Jake again, my man.
Thanks. I'll pass it on. Thanks. I appreciate it. And we'll see. I'll send you a nice little message after. We'll see how it goes.
Sounds good. We'll see if it's a good one or a bad one. We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's episode of Dupe by the River. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe for more of Dupe by the River. And of course, you can find us River Stream Podcast. Find us under Dupe by the River Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Trey Fillmore. I go by the name of El Parcero Philly. We're telling you.